right, Coach, you wrapped up your first scrimmage on Saturday. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
We're still trying to grow, trying to develop some trust, coaches, players, O-line, everything together. So right now we just got to take care of our job, be where we're supposed to be, and then the trust will come.
Last year you guys had a unique season in the running back room, a lot of injuries. You bring back some of those guys. How are you kind of feeling about some of the returning and some of the new transfer guys coming in?
I feel good. You kind of get forced as a young guy to play early, and it's tough at times. But then once they get through the year, now all of a sudden you got a whole bunch of guys that have a whole bunch of experience. So right now we got a lot of experience in our room. So it's good for the younger guys that hadn't played, but it's really good for the entirety of the room because now there's the competition factor's up. Everybody wants a little piece of the pie, so it's a good part. It's a good thing.
De'Majay Harris, he broke out a 50-yard touchdown run a little scrimmage. Just how encouraging was that to see after his season was kind of cut short last year?
That was great. It was a good confidence run. O-line did a spectacular job. I think anybody in the room could have hit that hole. They did a great job up front. But it was good for him. Confidence coming back from the knee. Just having the ability to go ahead and take one to the house is big on the confidence side.
Mackenzie McGill came up big last year in some of the most important times. How has he kind of developed since that first year going into this spring so far?
Mackenzie's growing. If I had to pick one guy in that room that has the most growth from last fall to now, it'd be him. Just from a confidence level, and then just being a year longer into the system. He's actually, you look around and he's the longest running back that's been here out of all of them, which is crazy to say. So just the confidence factor, and I trust the kid. I really do. Kid's got a lot of potential and has a chance to be special.
You've been going up with some new quarterbacks again this season. What have you kind of seen from them, and how have they kind of helped you guys out, especially in this offense and implementing the run game?
Yeah, it's a trust. Everybody's trying to, learn everybody, trying to figure out, how the communication factor works between quarterback and running back. So we're working through some of those things and knowing, personnel-wise with the quarterbacks and with the running backs. And, it's good. It's growth. That's why we do spring ball. That's why we have practices. And so we'll continue to grow with those guys, and they're really pretty good.
What kind of role do you see a guy like Jaden Beck's playing this year?
We brought him in here to run the ball. He's got speed, so his role would be, if he gets a chance to take one to the house, I don't expect him to get caught from behind. He's probably the fastest guy in the room. Well, he's not probably. He's the fastest guy in the room. De'Majay would probably have something to say about that, but right now on paper, he's the fastest guy on the team. So I look forward to seeing him, cut loose on Saturdays.
Coach, we didn't get to talk to you when all those running back injuries were happening last season, but just how much growth did you see from those backs that stepped into that role after, Akaika, Joanna, all those guys went down?
It was good. The two guys that I still have here that stepped up in a big way, Kiefer stepped up in a huge way, and Mackenzie stepping up in a huge way and being in a role that was kind of just thrown upon them. Didn't expect those two to play a lot of ball going through camp. So just being able to get the reps in practice all week long and then play ball at the end is great for those guys. Like I said, for this year coming up. But the guy that's taking a big step right now and getting a lot of reps is Ashton Gray. He's really growing. It's good to have him last year in the back end of the year, kind of get up with the varsity, so to speak, and be able to start learning and hearing the offense was big for him. Even though he didn't get any carries, it was still big for him to grow off the field.
And you've been able to develop running backs very well in your time here. What has been that process? How difficult is it to kind of get everyone ready for the right time, and especially, you saw last year, people have to step up?
It's just kind of we try to breed competition, and it's just not my room. Hopefully it's everybody's room. We try to breed competition, and so when we go through camp and we go through spring ball, we're trying to give everybody the ability to learn and play, and it's their job to go out there and try to earn it. So every week it's a competition. We're going week to week to try to see who the best guy is for that week, and I try to believe that in my room, and it just kind of carries over week to week, and so it's good when the season comes along and a guy that probably not used to getting that many reps all of a sudden starts into a starting role. It's just kind of what it is.
Another one of those transfers y'all brought over was Clayton Johnson from Tulane. What have you kind of seen from him early on?
Well, going through OTAs he's a smart kid. He's played a lot of ball at this level. I trust him a lot. He does a lot of coaching and things of that nature. So it's gonna be fun to coach him because he really is a smart football player.
And how have you seen Keeper develop from last year to now?
Keeper's still growing. He's Keeper. I mean, at the end of the day, you look around and you think those guys aren't freshmen, but they're still 19, 18 years old. So you just gotta take it with a grain of salt and understand that those kids are still staying in the dorms, they're still doing kid stuff. So his growth has been good, just as expected, and he's doing a good job of being where he's supposed to be.
Do you have any expectations for your position group going into the end of spring, going into fall camp?
Yeah, just growth. We got a long way to go. Like I said, like I started the thing off, is trust. Like them trusting what I'm saying and doing what I'm saying is a big part of my coaching every day. So saying the same thing over and over to them and having the coaching the same thing and being consistent with my coaching. And them finally, you can always see it every once in a while, it'll click with them, and then they'll start playing a little bit faster. My goal is for them to trust me by the end of this thing and them to be playing really fast football.
You've been able to go up against Coach Cassidy's defense. What have you kind of seen from how they kind of been able to help you guys out learn a little bit more?
They do a good job. Coach Cassidy does an excellent job, and the best part of it is like he'll come in the office, he asks questions, and I'll ask him questions, and just we bounce things off of each other just to try to figure out what's going on. They get us all the time. They do a lot of things. They slant the fronts. They give us looks. They bring pressure. He does a great job, and it's going to make us ready for the fall.
Coach, as the run game coordinator, I wanted to ask you something that we noticed on Saturday, which is the quarterback runs and then quarterback design runs, and just how that kind of adds to this offense.
We got 3 quarterbacks that can tote the ball. I mean, they're fast, they're athletic. We'd be doing them a disservice if we didn't let them carry the ball every once in a while. So that helps our offense, especially like big time situations. Like we got to improve on third downs. We got to improve in the red zone, and having a quarterback that can run the ball really, helps your offense tremendously when you get in those situations.
All right, Coach, you wrapped up your first scrimmage on Saturday. How are you kind of feeling about your position group and the defense in total?
Man, I thought we did good, man. We made some plays in the back end and some plays we didn't make. It's a lot of small things that we got to clean up within the defense and within the group too. So, we still got a couple spring practices to keep working and keep stacking days.
You guys bring back a guy like Brian Nelson to this defense, but you add a lot of your Sam Houston guys as well. What are you kind of seeing in them, and how have they kind of grown so far?
Yeah, I feel like everybody's getting out there competing well. Brian has been around his team for a while, is looked at as a leader, so he's been doing good things, making some plays. And then Fisher and Armstead coming with me from Sam Houston. I know those guys. I know how they tick. I know what makes them go. So they've been doing well too.
Having known those guys, Coach, what would you kind of describe as their biggest strengths?
Biggest strength, Fish can run. He's made plays for me. Armstead is 6'2", longer guys. They both do excellent in press, and we're pretty much a press man team. Regardless of if we're playing zone, it's going to end up being man in some way, shape, or form.
And speaking on that, I wanted to ask about how would you kind of describe the defensive backs' roles in this defense?
We're going to be expected to be playmakers. A lot of the times in the game, if it's third down, everybody around the country know we're going to be man-to-man. So I tell those guys, you got to earn your scholarship. It's going to be man-to-man, our 5 versus their 5. Let's see who's going to win.
What kind of leadership have those guys like Fisher and Armstead kind of brought in the quarterback room so far?
I think they've been good knowing that they've been with me for a whole year. So they kind of, are able to tell those guys my expectations, how I coach, what I like. And if I'm not, say I'm on the right side, they can help that dude on the left side, telling them the small things. The good thing is they're comfortable and they understand the defense. I make a lot of those guys that play corner, they have to know the safety and nickel spot too. So they're able to really break the defense down for the younger guys who are having trouble picking it up.
You've been able to practice against a very solid North Texas offense, unlike Sam Houston. How have you have they kind of helped you guys out a little bit and sharpen some of those skills that you guys have back there?
Man, I think, you look at our receiver group, they have about 20 receivers, and you can put any of them on the field and they can run and make plays. So I think that makes if you're the ones or the threes, able to have to go out there and compete every day and get better.
Who's someone that's kind of stood out in that room so far, maybe a younger guy or whoever?
I like all of them, really. 22, I like 4. 22 and 4 I like the most. I like 10. I like 11. I like 1. I like everybody. as long as they can score points, I love them.
You kind of mentioned Brian Nelson a little bit. What are your kind of expectations for him going into his true sophomore season now?
The expectations are going to be high. Coming off what he had last year, 4 picks and all conference and by some people. So standard is high. Let's go be All-American. Let's go get 8 picks, and let's really make sure that we're stacking days to get better. You know, sometimes we have those young dudes, when they come off a good year, they kind of just put it in coast mode. Now, the ceiling is here. We're going to go above it.
Oh, good. All right. How's the team starting to come together here in the spring so far?
I think this team is starting come together very well. It's just like, like outside of football, it's just kind of like bonding a little bit. Like going bowling together and just like select few is just starting to, connect.
Yeah. How's the transition from Missouri State kind of into North Texas so far?
It's been wonderful. Just like the weight room program is very different and better. And it's like, it's better.
In what ways is it better here?
It's just like, it's more coaches like pouring into you. Like, it's just like it's more coaches like pouring into you. It's just like, giving it their all, and just like everybody like on like one page is like just stand together.
In your position group, you have some guys returning from last year. How have they kind of helped you kind of get adjusted to this offense system?
But they kind of helped me, it's just like DeMarjay Harris, like he gave me his whole notebook like from last year. Like when he came, it's just like it helped me a lot.
How do you feel like you've kind of improved since you got here and up to this point after your first scrimmage on Saturday?
I feel like I improved. I just gotta get used to the scheme. It's a different scheme. You just gotta get used to it and just keep working hard.
In that notebook, Jaden, is there anything that really stood out to you? Any notes?
Just like how he noted kind of keywords of different plays. Is like some of the different plays mean the same thing. So how he noted it and highlighted it, it just stood out and helped me.
Actually, how are you finding adjusting to do this North Texas offense, right? At the nationally ranked in scoring this last couple years.
I feel like I'm adjusted to it very well. It's I'm right there. You gotta keep going.
What would you say are some of your biggest strengths out of the backfield?
Speed, and I can score anytime I get the ball, turn it a 2-yard game to a 50.
What have you kind of been able to see from this North Texas offense, watching it back and kind of, finding a role for this offense for yourself?
I see that, we pass the ball a lot. It's just the box is be a 4-1, 4-2 sometimes. The box be kind of light, and just with my speed, it's an advantage.
You guys are pretty deep in that room, How do you feel like you could be able to stand out a little bit more? And you're running with the ones on Saturday. How do you feel like you can stand out?
The room is very diverse, very different. A lot of us do different stuff. I don't think it's none of us that do the same thing. Everybody's just different. And what I'm going to bring is speed, experience, just to help us.
What were your early thoughts on Coach Cassidy's defense in the scrimmage that we saw on Saturday?
So I already kind of seen his defense at Missouri State. So they run the same defense because he was at Missouri State, and Missouri State still uses his dad defense. So I kind of I already seen his nothing that I haven't seen already.
Jaden, your name's been kind of brought up a couple times by Jordan Davis and then Coach Hobbs, you talked to. Just what do you feel like you've been able to show so far in spring camp?
I feel like I've been able to show that, that first off that I'm better in pass protection, starting to learn the plays better, he can trust me, and then just my speed, obviously.
All right, you finished. Oh,
Go ahead.
All right, you finished your first scrimmage so far this spring. What did you kind of see from your guys and especially in the position group?
I'll start by saying I'm really excited about the whole team, on both sides of the ball. I feel like we're really competitive on both sides, In the DB room, we're real, diverse, as, Jay said, his position group. We all play different, so I feel like us all on the field at the same time is really going to be a good thing.
And how do you feel like you can kind of build on the success you had last year, and what kind of made you want to return for 2025?
So this makes me want to return is, first of all, Coach Cassidy, Coach Wilson, they recruited me in high school when they was at ACU, so I'm already familiar with them, so I'm excited to, of course, be in the scheme, just make new plays. I'll be at the corner spot, sometimes a nickel spot, so just being versatile is what I'm really most excited for. Just being able to stack on top of my last season.
That's obviously a big storyline heading into the season, Brian. New defensive scheme, new teammates. How's the adjustment been?
Adjustment's been, pretty smooth, to be honest, because, I feel like I processed, a new playbook pretty fast, and just seeing how, I can make plays for these coaches really excited me, to be ready to come this season.
You guys bring in some experience from Sam Houston with Fisher and Armstead. How have they kind of helped you learn the system and step up as a leader?
Oh, they helped me a lot. They, just outside of football, outside the meetings, they'll be like, you just got this, you got that, don't overthink it. So they really been, helpful to me, just learn the scheme. And so I feel like they're going to be some big playmakers in this defense too.
You changing a lot of defense staff, defensive players. Do you feel like there's a little bit of a culture change on that defense, or in general as a team?
I wouldn't say much of a culture change, but I mean, I'll say it's a little bit of a culture change from deeper level. Like we have more of a, I say, chemistry bond, and like I said, everybody on the same time, on the field at the same time, is going to be amazing.
How have you personally kind of thought some of the transfers get adjusted in North Texas this spring so far?
Just like Miles just said, just getting used to the culture really, just from K getting to the the meeting room, just all around North Texas, just getting used to the culture. I mean, it's a big jump from Sam Houston to North Texas, so just getting them accommodated really is what helped.
What do you feel like you kind of gained from that freshman year? You had a lot of experience, a lot of playing time. What do you feel like you gained going into this fall?
For my freshman year, I gained a lot of awareness. Like I'm glad Coach Morris, put me on the field my freshman year, let me play a full game at Tulsa. So I feel like that's really helped me in the long run. Just knowing how college ball is, just knowing the speed, the tempo of it, just getting used to it, just making myself feel like I belong here.
You're going up against a few new quarterbacks this year. What have you kind of seen from them, and how have they kind of helped you guys out?
We brought in some big quarterbacks, man. Reese, Drew, Chris Emerson. They all play different, and so they also do good at reading defenses and just helping me what I could do better. Was helping them like what defense are you in? They could tell by how I stand. So just helping me with that aspect is really good.
Do you have any personal goal or something for the defensive side, kind of going out of spring and into fall camp?
Yeah, for the goal for the defense, I just say just trusting everybody on the field. Like everybody's new, it's a new team, so just trusting the talent on the field, trusting people get that 111 is going to be a big blow for this team.
The moment.
Call it.
Thank you, sir.
Call it AC. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a good. Smart. It's smart.